adversity, bring it. The struggle, we welcome it. Snooze on life, never that. We are Dave Regina and Mike Pirelli, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on.
Welcome back to the No Snooze Podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike Pirelli, and with me, the beardly
Neanderthal Dave Regina.
Neanderthal type Dave Regina. The first episode, we talked about motivation and how to get going. These are just conversations we have on the phone back and forth, and then we're translating them to a podcast. Yep. But the next thing after you get that motivation and with the new year, we start talking about our goals. So today, you know, if you can have all the motivation in the world, but if you don't have the right focus and the right place and the right place to put that energy, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to be spinning your wheels and digging yourself into a hole. So, yeah. And the goal, part of my thing is having maybe too many goals and trying to figure out which ones to work on.
Yes,
that's something I struggle with.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing that we as people, we have a lot of goals, but then you also, the first thing, you need to be realistic about what can happen in a certain amount of time.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that because I always go back and forth setting realistic goals, which I think work well, but then if you don't have big enough aspirations, then you don't have the motivation to get to those goals, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, but it's interesting because when we speak, we have two different processes, and I think that's awesome because people are going to probably relate more to either yours or mine.
And when you were talking about push-ups, you said that I can't get motivated by doing just 100 a day, right?
100 a day?
Yeah, remember you said that? You're like, I can't get motivated by doing a little amount of something.
100 in a clip, Michael.
Yeah. But that's what the little versus big goals is a big thing I want to talk about.
Yes.
But speaking about push-ups, just so we check in with everyone.
Let's check in.
So what are our totals for the week?
Check in right now. Hold on.
And that was a goal I had.
This was your thing. This was not. This was not.
You
on
just
my radar.
want to bully me and jump into this and try to.
Let's go to the leaderboard, global leaderboard.
Well, you were getting irritated because I was like, "Oh, I did 300 a day, like I'm making progress," and you're like, "300?"
Yeah, no, I don't like it. Okay, so you're stepping it up. I mean, today I'm at 561 and you're at 0, but
I have a physical.
Go all time. So you're number 6.
I have a physical today.
Michael Pirelli
exercise
is number
before
6,
noon.
29,285 push-ups. Dave Regina started on November 22nd, and he's at 19,151 push-ups.
But there's a big injury on the horizon.
Well, I got a little twinge.
Yeah.
I got a little twinge here.
Yeah,
but Neanderthals recover quick.
If we were UFC fighters and this was fight week, that would be reported, and all the money's coming to this side.
Michael, I'm not worried about it. Don't snooze on me, kid. Don't do it.
Not to get too sidetracked. I get all over the place because I have so many goals and so many things I want to do. And sometimes I procrastinate and snooze on a lot of them because I can't figure out which one to do. So how do you set a goal and figure out what to work on? Because I'm curious because you get a lot of stuff done.
Yeah, but it's still never enough, which is always a conversation that we have. But before we jump right into the goals, I want to just give a little background because my process on goals is very personal to me, and it's actually applied, all over the world. But my grandfather, who he's no longer with us, he was in the Navy, right? So I was very, very fortunate. 7th and 8th grade, he was the one that was actually driving me back and forth to school. So we had like a lot of conversations, and even my family members don't really know the conversations that went on, but a lot of it was talking about goals and setting things out into existence, and then pushing and never ever quitting on anything that you do.
And how long was he a Marine?
Well, no. So he was in the Navy. Yeah, Navy. He was in the Navy. I don't know exactly how long. I forget. Traveled all over the world. Yeah. But his mindset was very much. My mindset is very much like his. Yeah. So I had stumbled across this podcast or book. I forget where I read it, but the Navy today applies like this process of goals. And they broke it down to this process that I swear my grandfather explained to me. It wasn't in this acronym of SMART, but it is the same type of process from start to finish.
And when you heard it, or you heard your grandfather say it, was it like, that makes a lot of sense, or you're like, sounds good in theory, but I'll try it when I want to, or did it click right away?
No, it clicked right away, but I never fully committed to it.
Yeah.
And I'm still not 100% with it. I mean, I don't know if you'll ever be 100% with it, but my wife and I apply it today. So the first thing, though, when it comes to a goal for me is it a realistic goal? And then if it is a realistic goal, like something that's actually achievable, what's the why? Why do you want to attack whatever it is that you're going after? Anything in business, your marriage, relationships, your fitness journey, anything. What is the why? And I believe that if the why is not personal to you,
Yeah.
and it's just to do it just because, you're going to eventually quit.
Yeah.
So if we're saying that I now establish the why and it's realistic, now I get into this process. And I'm just going to share the process with you, not claiming that I made it up. My grandfather talked about it years and years ago, and now it's actually worldwide. It's utilized all over the world, but it's something that I think can really, really help people.
Do you have a specific goal that you achieved that you can use while you explain it?
Yes. My house. You know, I won't put a dollar amount on it. But so this acronym SMART, right? It's called the SMART goal. So it's specific for the S, measurable for the M, attainable for the A, realistic for the R, and then the timeline for the T. Mm-hmm. So we'll take you back to the specificity, right? The specific part of the goal. My wife and I knew, okay, we want to buy a house, and we know that we need to save X amount of dollars to do this.
Was there a why behind the...
Why
you wanted to buy a house?
Of course.
What was the why?
So we had the investment property in 2016, but we wanted to be in a neighborhood where we can ultimately raise a family, and we knew that that's what we wanted, mm-hmm. right? It was the next step in our relationship and our marriage, so we wanted that. Yeah. So that was very clear. We knew that we had the why there. So the specifics of it was, okay, we want to buy a house and we want to save X amount of dollars. That was the, I don't want to share the number, but we'll go through the process. Now the M for measurable. This is
in
big.
This scenario it could be Mike, because you called me for the house. So.
That's true. I like that. Good stuff, Mikey. So the measurable thing, we now took a calendar and we marked off every single payroll that we got paid. Like if we got paid on the 1st and the 15th, we would mark that off with X amount of dollars. We'll just call it $500. And every time we did that, we actually wrote it down. So I was able to measure 4 times a month. Am I getting towards this goal? Mm-hmm. Right. So that's the measurable piece to it. That goal then became attainable because over a 5-year process, we not only broke the 5 years down to 1 year, down to once a month. Mm-hmm. So you can constantly see these small amounts being deposited, and then it adds up. And then there's setbacks along the way, too, obviously. If you were trying to save $500, there's times that we have birthdays, weddings, engagements, whatever it is, you give a gift. We would literally write down minus $400, and the plus was only $100. Yeah. So we would see that. If we did save the money that we wanted to on the calendar, it'd be a check. If we didn't, it'd be an X through it. So that's the attainable piece. The timeline of it was the 5 years, and we knew that we had to stay on that timeline. But when you break the bigger timeline down, that process there is humongous for people because you get so overwhelmed by a big goal. But if you're able to break it down to like little, tangible, small wins, that is how you start eating the elephant one bite at a time.
I like that. How did you figure out that timeline? Because
the 5-year plan?
That's something I always worry or I struggle with because I'm very like yourself. I think I can do whatever, and I have this.
You want to do it
ego.
tomorrow?
Well, I have this ego where I'm like,
all of us. Not just you.
I got in a huge argument with Dana that I told her I could build our dining room table because we were trying to save money, and I was like, I could build the dining room table.
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm like, do I have the time and energy to actually do that? Does it make sense?
Yep.
It's usually the answer is no. But how do you figure out like, oh, if I want to buy a house, this is the time? Is it just pick anything and go break it down, or is it like work backwards? I don't know.
So I think one plays into the realistic piece of it.
Got it.
You know, so if for us it was 5 years, and full transparency, my last job before I moved over to the town that I'm in now, I was fortunate enough to receive housing through the job. You've been to my house.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great place to live, but it wasn't what we wanted for the future. So we sat down. We literally wrote it out when we got married in 2014.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, this is where we want to be.
Yeah.
I'll be 30 at that time, and this is our 5-year plan. So you break it down off of the realism of where you're at.
Got it.
And in 2014, we weren't financially where we are, in 2017 or 18. So we constantly measured, and we had to reevaluate as we went along. So if there was times that we could save more money because we just got a raise or whatever it was, we were now saving more money. But you can't get overwhelmed by the long term.
Yeah.
It's breaking it down to something that's so real. If you can save $20,000 a year and you want to put $100,000 down, do the math. That's the real piece.
Yeah.
If you can only save $6,000 a year, now that timeline doesn't really work.
Yeah.
So it's the realistic piece to it. What's your process on that?
So my process is a little different, and we kind of talked about this, but I need to do that because I like that, and it's very specific. A lot of the time, a goal of mine is a really big one. Like I wanted to get in real estate and be a landlord and a property investor, and then I start trying to do it and then figure out what steps while I'm doing it I need to take to get to that. So like I keep auditing myself and figuring out, all right, well, residential is a great avenue. This company's good to work with. All right, this year stuff worked, but I think I need to add commercial to it because there's a lot of clients that want to do both. And then I'm like, all right, well, I have commercial. I need to buy properties so I need to get more planned out on the big goals before I go and attack them because I think my energy's good, but I'm getting by because I'm just working so hard. Versus working
I want to ask you a question. So are you...
Oh, see that? Working smart.
What? Yeah, no, seriously.
There you go.
But so what you're saying, as I hear it, is that you're trial and error based while you're getting to the goal?
Yeah, I think I need to see some type of action and result and then reevaluate. That's how I work best. It's like I do something and I'm like, did that work? Did that not work? All right, let me add this. Let me change that. It's kind of like cooking for me. But it's probably drive you nuts.
Well,
right?
It's not driving me nuts. No, but
yeah.
I think that's everybody, and we all do it.
Yeah, it's not great.
We all do it. But when you have a serious goal, I mean, I'm being dramatic with it, but it's basically you need to. Do you want it, or do you just like the idea of it? Right. So do you want something so bad that you're willing to do whatever it takes, or do you just like the idea of becoming a real estate agent where you sold X amount of properties?
So I think I'm a weird case where I get it all done and I actually go do it, but there's a lot of people that do the way I do it that don't get it done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I got you.
Just because
and your
of
process might not be in place, but you get after it and you get it done.
Yeah, and then I do at some point figure out backwards smart.
Mm-hmm.
So I like start with, all right, well, what's
you
the
go
time?
big. You go big right away, right?
Well, I go big right away.
And it motivates you.
Well, it motivates me, and the realistic goal is good and I enjoy it, but it doesn't get me excited.
Can I ask you a question on that? Yeah, so when you said that yesterday, I wanted to ask you too, but I wanted to save it for the actual recording.
Yeah.
When you ask yourself that question and you say a realistic goal.
Yeah.
And you say 5 properties in a year.
Yeah.
Is
or
that
sales?
Or
sales?
Well, yes. Okay, so say it was 5 commercial properties that you wanted to sell in a year.
Yeah.
That's a big goal. It's not.
So this is what I struggle with, right? Because you don't I didn't know where I would be. Like I didn't think I'd be this far along in the process right now. I didn't think I'd do this many sales and listings and all this stuff. And I think sometimes if you don't set a big enough goal, you don't do the actions and you kind of pigeonhole yourself.
Let's talk through this.
You know
goal.
what I'm saying?
I love it, but let's go through this. So is this one of your goals for 2020?
Well, so one of my goals for 2020 is sell 5 commercial properties.
Let's talk through that goal.
But
right
in
now.
addition to continuing my residential and growing that,
that's
a vague one.
That's fine.
See how I combo vague.
Give me a goal right now, and I want to talk through it. See if it makes sense.
I also want to learn Italian. We'll get to that one, but it'll be a specific one. Is 5 commercial sales next year, and I struggle because I'm like, should I make it? I'm listening to Grant Cardone a lot, and his whole thing is like, you need to set bigger goals. Because if you're doing bigger goals, you're thinking about it differently, and it opens you up to a bigger, maybe a more efficient process.
I got you, and I love all of these dudes.
I go back and forth.
No, I got you, and I love all these dudes. But you have to understand, and we have to understand that these guys are already so successful, so they're able to say things now looking back that they're saying that they did.
But they did that. You know
they're
what I mean?
saying they did it. But if you're in this and you haven't had any commercial deals, which you have, I got you. You got one
on the board.
No, so I got you. So you have. Yeah. You have one. But why are we going to go? Let's create a goal that is realistic and still big. So 5 goals now. So that's this. Well, let's go through smart.
Yeah.
Let's just go through it.
Part of it, too, is looking at the previous year. And I looked in my residential stuff, and I kind of was having exponential growth for the first couple of years. So in commercial, there's like a point where you have enough contacts and enough buyers that once you get over that hump, you close a bunch in a row.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's like a momentum thing, and the first one's tough, but then when you crack that code, then you get rolling.
You get going.
So it's like 5 sounds like a lot with 1, but is it really? So I don't know.
So let's talk that through, though.
Yeah.
So the specificity, the specific part of it is the 5 commercial deals by 2020.
Yeah.
We've already established your why. Right, you now really, really want this versus liking the idea of it because you know that it's attainable.
So I think, and I don't mean to jump around, but I think the why changes, and my why, I have like a big why, which is parents worked extremely hard, would like to take care of them once I hit it or whatever, make it big. Now with a wife, she gets added into that, and then other things get thrown on. So it's like it changes and builds. So just to. I don't know if you think that way about it.
Yes, but when you're talking when I put a goal out there, and that's why it's hard for me to really get goals because I know the commitment that I have to get the mind right. But all that stuff that you're saying is the problem because you're changing your why.
I don't know. I mean, I think you need to do that to stay current. Because
well,
if you're
no. So if the goal is 5 commercial deals,
yes,
no matter what goes on in your life and what.
Oh, that's the
you
goal.
You have to still get to
that's
that
the
goal.
That's not the why.
Right? So we already got the specific part. You're very specific.
Yeah.
You said, look, 5 commercial deals. Measurable. How do we measure that?
Easy. You got to close 5 deals.
No.
Oh, measure the activity.
You measure the activity. So you break the 5 down now in months.
So
right? Whether it's quarterly, say what would be a perfect scenario for you? Selling one a quarter and then having one quarter where you have 2?
It's cyclical. So there's 2 big selling seasons. There's 4 total, obviously. But there's 2 big selling seasons. Commercial's a little different, but say if it's 5, you need to do I don't know, and this includes rentals because rentals are pretty big in commercial, but say you can do I don't know, 1 every 2 months.
Okay.
That'll get you to 6.
That'll get you to 6.
But the activity would be seeing a certain number of properties and making a certain number of contacts because you got to build the pipeline.
So the measure here in my head, and again, you're the expert here on real estate, but I believe that I can break any goal down, and I want to see if this makes sense to you.
Yeah.
So the measurable piece for me would be creating something that I can visually see, whether it's a calendar, whether you want to write it down.
I like calendars.
With all of your contacts currently in commercial real estate.
Yeah.
Then you take that measure of your I guess accounts or whatever it is in terms of your contacts.
Network.
And now you spread your network out over that timeline. So now you're able to measure it month by month. Okay, I knew that this month I wanted to call 17 of my contacts and 16 are failures. I have 1 on the table. Now 1 turns to 2 because you just did that in the second quarter. So every single quarter or month, you're able to measure off of your network that you physically put onto something.
Yeah. You're putting.
So that's the measure. You can do that weekly. You can do that daily.
Yeah.
If you say I have 6 people per day that I want to call, that's your measure.
And I do that in some form, but not specific to commercial real estate yet. And I just have to translate it. But I totally get it.
The attainable now.
Yeah.
So measure's clear, right?
Yeah, it's attainable. For sure.
Attainable, you already know that you have, for the year, you already have 150 people in your network that can be potential, throwing
whatever
it out there,
it is.
that can be potential people that you can do commercial real estate with.
Yeah.
So you've already done 1 deal. So I believe just hearing that 5 is definitely attainable.
Well,
and I want to just make sure that this is very, very clear. The attainable goal now is not the 5. Break it down. How are we going to get the first one? What is the lane and the avenue that we're going to take, the approach to get just the first deal?
So the reason I'm adding this tool to the toolbox is I have a good network, and it's still growing, but a good network in residential and a lot of clients that also have commercial needs. I also have that commercial deal, which created all these leads. So I have a bucket of people already to go and get the deals with. So they're there. I just got to go out and get the properties. And to get those properties, I need the network and know the agents in the commercial world who have the properties that I don't see on the MLS, that are coming on the market, that are expired, that someone's thinking about selling.
Yes. But you're still jumping too far ahead, because this whole process is really breaking it down.
The first deal would come from I have a hot lead that I'm working with now that is looking for a very specific property that I already sold, very similar to it, and I know exactly what they need. I just got to go find it.
Okay, so that's the there you go.
Impressed?
No, I am impressed, because that's the attainable piece.
Yeah, so start with the first.
You start with the very first one, and you create an avenue and a track to get there, because everybody does exactly what you just did, and you jump around in terms of your head, and it's all good stuff, and you're saying the right stuff, but you're not breaking it down to the minute little minuscule things that you can be doing every single day.
So to add to that, in a little bit of reality and knowing now what I know, I think I need to work on 3 clients to get that first one.
Boom.
Because you're one of every 3, probably less. It's probably like 1 in 5.
But there you go. Now you're talking strategic and very specific, tangible takeaways to get you there. Yeah. Before you're like, I know, Johnny Jones who can get me to Tommy.
Well, what I'm hearing from you is I just need to take it a step further, because I have all of these
everything.
Things.
Everybody always does. I
have them all organized.
Yes.
I just don't have it specifically written down as the strategy in a calendar. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the realistic piece. So we got to the A.
So we're at A.
So we got that, because now it's attainable. The 1 is attainable. You took the 5, you made it 1, and now you just told me a lane and an avenue that can get me to 1. That's the attainable goal. Then once you have 1, boom, that's off. Now the attainable becomes 2, right? And you go from there.
And I keep throwing things in here, but it's not very linear real estate, which is tough, because you could have 0 on the board, and then you pull 3 because you were working on 3 simultaneously.
But again, that's not you now changing your why.
No.
You're just adding.
I'm just adding that note on why the straight line stuff I love, and usually it works really well.
You don't even know what you just did, but you just took me to the R.
Yeah.
No, you took me to the realistic piece, because you're saying that it's not very linear.
Yeah, being realistic,
which is great. So you're being realistic, and that could work for you or against you. So if you were to break all that stuff down and the realistic goal, and you evaluate after month 4 and you don't have 1, is it still realistic for us to get 5? Yes, it is. Yeah. Yes, it is, of course. But I believe that the attainable one still needs to be that first one.
Yeah.
So the realistic approach now is not the 5 goals. It's getting that first one in the books.
Yeah.
And it might be month 5. And you will still probably get there, because real estate is like that. And when the sun comes out and the weather's nice, that there's going to be a boom and people want that.
Well, there's other variables, yeah.
No. But I'm saying, usually I'm always interested in looking at properties when the weather is great. When the weather's really nice, you want to go see open houses and all that stuff.
Commercial is different. So commercial is more of the numbers.
Yep.
So you're working with a lot more of for me, I believe it's more of establishing the network.
Got you.
But that's a good point with the cyclical.
No.
Residential, I'll be doing residential also, so I have all these people that I'm going to pull from.
Yes, but we're not, the goal is 5 commercial, because I believe you're going to have a goal for your commercial. For your residential as well.
Yeah, like last year was I wanted to do a commercial deal, and I got my commercial under the belt.
I think you have the
I'm
greatest
just
thing,
very vague and all over the place.
But the greatest thing, and this should be clear to everybody, is a work ethic.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have a work ethic, and that's why I say with the why, you have to really want something versus liking the idea of it. And fitness is super easy to weigh and scale that stuff, no pun intended there, but to actually scale your progress. Because in your fitness journey, I don't think that everybody has to wake up and be motivated all the time, but you get to a point where your mindset changes and you know the why.
Yeah.
So there's days, and I believe
And it becomes habit.
right, the progress happens on the days that you are not motivated to do something. Same thing in real estate.
This week sucked going
But
to the gym in the morning.
you basically run your own business. Yes, you work for people. We get that, but you're still managing your own time. So I'm sure there's days that you're not feeling it and you don't want to get up and do it. But you told me on the phone about your day yesterday and how amazing it was to you that you were not really feeling it. Ended up having 2 or 3 phenomenal meetings.
Yeah, I had way too much coffee too, but it was good.
That was hilarious. And the outcome of it was a successful day.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't tell you right there that you need to be doing things that you're uncomfortable doing, I don't really know how to get anybody going. You have to have a moment of like, all right, I want this and I'm committing to whatever this goal is. And I'm going to get after it regardless. People, I feel like we wait for this moment, which happens sometimes.
Yeah.
But you're never going to wake up 100% of the days, 365 days a year and be like, oh, I'm so motivated today. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. But I believe if you take the big goals and you break it down to the small, tangible wins, that's when you ultimately hit the goal.
I know we argue about this too, but I think showing up is like 90% of it. I really do.
I mean,
for certain things, like if you show up to a meeting,
yes,
like just by us showing up and recording, we're just
you're that much closer to it. I agree.
You know what I mean?
We disagree on the percentage of it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it's just. I guess it is. If you show up and you're in the right place, you still need the info and be able to get the opportunity and convert it. But I think a lot of it's just being there. Like a lot of it, when I started out, you're just there when people call or someone needs help, and you're there. That's half of it.
I agree with you if you're saying that when you get there that something else clicks.
Oh, yeah.
Because we agree that if you show up to the gym and you don't do anything, you're not going to get fit.
But if you show up to the gym and you see other people working out.
But now you're motivated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's doing the things that you don't want to do. Okay, I don't want to go to the gym today, but you know what? I'm going to go because showing up is a big portion of it, and that is hopefully going to get you going too.
Yeah.
But you need to look back at the why. Look back at the why on what it is that you want and why you want it. And if that means something personal to you, you'll find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
I'm not motivated all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I'm committed to being to being better every single day. And of course there's setbacks. There's always going to be setbacks. Any goal, any relationship, whatever it is that you're in, setbacks are going to happen continuously. That's never going to change and that's never going to stop. But if you're on a diet, right? And fitness, I keep going back to that, not because I'm the most fit by any means, but it's very easy to relate it to because you can push yourself to a limit. There's days that you don't want to do stuff, but you have to do it because of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And the small stuff adds up, and that's when the breakthrough happens.
Yeah.
That's when it happens, Mike. I'm telling you, and I'm going to preach this always. I know I sound like a preacher, but I'm living it.
There's wisdom in that beard.
And I'm doing it because your ceiling is here, right? Of 1,000 push-ups, 100 push-ups. But if you on days that you don't want to do those 1,000 push-ups, get there and you do 1,010.
No, I think when you have a partner and someone who's your accountability guy and he does 2,200, then you're like, wow, I am super soft. I got to. But
that's
there's
a way.
two ways
but
to go.
You have
There's
somebody
people
there
that get competitive and try to compete.
What if
or
you
people
don't,
that,
Mike? What if you don't have anybody?
But that's
there?
what I'm saying. Then people or other people shy away from it. So it could be good or bad.
But it needs to be. That's deeper. I'm sorry. Mine is deeper because you need to be able to do this when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
When nobody's there.
But once it gets into a routine, I'm still figuring it out, like my personal stuff. Like
I think we're all figuring it out.
No, but like what makes me tick keeps changing, right? Like we talked about it. Like in college, it was like, let's go work out because you're trying to get dates and stuff and trying to look good. Now it's like you're married, so like why you're trying to be? Well, I want to be there around for when kids come, and so it all keeps changing. But you just need to keep figuring out what gets you going. And we talked about last.
Yeah, of course. But it also needs to be for yourself.
Yeah,
because a lot of people aren't married.
Selfish.
They're not in relationships. I know a lot of people right now that are struggling with the fact that they're like 30, 32, 35, 38, and they're like single, right? So how do you then get motivated to be fit if you're single? And the answer to that is do things that you don't want to do, and new opportunities, I believe, open up. I'm not trying to get into any religion. We're never going to do that. But I believe in like putting things out there, and the action will come back to you.
Yeah.
So you need to be doing those things and taking action, because if you don't take action and you want to meet somebody, what are you doing to actually meet these people?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be going to the gym, but are you joining different clubs, and are you trying to get involved with whatever's going on in your little community? Are you taking like activities? Are you going to like a painting class and trying to do things that you are interested in? Because I believe if you take those actions, then new opportunities are going to open up.
So it's action. You just got to start doing.
You have to.
So we're at R, and we got a little sidetracked.
Well, the T is easy because it's a timeline.
Timeline year.
Yeah. But, well, again.
Should it be a year?
So it is a year.
Oh.
But then it's creating a little timeline off of the big one.
See, this is where we differ, right? Because I have this vision of where I'm going to be, and I know this year gets me closer, but I don't know the next couple of years what they look like. I talk about with the fog, right?
Why are you going to the next couple of years? Your goal is
a year, but you're saying the big picture. You said the
no. I'm saying the big picture is the year. But you're doing yeah. So the big picture, you're jumping ahead. Don't do that.
That's my problem.
I know, but let's take that 5 commercial deals. Now the timeline is 1 year. Off of that 1 year,
we talked about it a little bit.
then break it down again. Everything is broken down.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be for you if you said, okay, my year when does the real estate year start? Is it just January or
whenever people start buying? Yeah, so it all
like
depends.
for you though. What's your goal? You said
when
in a year.
I start?
Are you saying from today, from this date?
Yeah,
you're
like
gonna
from
be,
now. I'll count.
From
it.
right now, you'll have 5 commercial deals by
Next.
the time we sit down next year at this time.
Yes.
Okay. So how cool would it be if you created an actual visual calendar? You said that you like writing stuff down.
I like calendars too.
But why not create a calendar and literally write down every single contact that you have on a big spreadsheet? Then you break that down to daily or weekly, and you say, okay, these 10 people are going to be called on this day, this day, this day. Then every day that you do that, and you had 3 people that you were going to call, boom, check.
Yeah.
The next day, the 3 people that I was going to call, boom, check.
Yeah.
The next day, you basically failed, like you like to say. I wouldn't say fail. I would say fall. But you only got to 1 out of 3.
Change the I to an L.
But you got to 1 out of 3.
Yes.
Right? So I would put an X there because you didn't accomplish it.
Yeah.
You drag the 2 over that you didn't call.
And then you have to make up for it.
And then you make up for it. Right?
So this is more a tactical thing, but I love the network thing because I think one of my things I have above on my computer, it says your net worth. Your network is your net worth, abbreviated acronym, whatever it is. And I have it above because it just reminds me. But I like having coffee with people one-on-one. Network events are great, but I feel like when you sit with someone one-on-one and just for 30 minutes, you learn so much about what they're trying to accomplish, how you can help them, how you can help each other in the future. It's just you remember that person versus a phone call and email because everyone does it now. So it's hard though because
it's not as personal.
Yeah, and you're trying to protect your time and be efficient.
Yep.
So like now time is a little slower as far as deals and managing deals. So now I'm out, having 3 or 4 coffee meetings a week trying to create more of a network.
Trying to get that. Yeah. You have everything, Mike. And I'm not trying to be no. I'm not trying to say that. Yes, I have it, and you're not there yet.
No, I know.
No means. I'm saying you have everything that's already in Smart. You jump around.
Yeah, so
we all do it.
That's one of the things.
All do it.
That's why I love what I do because you have to do a lot of stuff at the same time.
Yep.
So it kind of scratches that itch for me.
This Smart technique forces you to stay in the lane. You can have 10 different goals, but each one should be different. Yeah. You shouldn't involve your commercial with your residential, even though hear me out.
See, that's
even
what's
though
hard
your
for me.
Residential is going to lead to commercial.
Yeah.
But it's still 2 different lanes, and you can plug and play.
Yeah,
like,
but when
like
you're going
chess,
for the goal,
you go for the goal.
Yeah.
And you can have 25 goals. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the process is everything. And I'm telling you, I challenge you, take a number. Take $1,000, give me a timeline of that, and we'll go back and forth. And I guarantee you, if you just follow the process, it'll happen. It might take time, but you chip away and you physically see it. Okay, today
give you $1,000. What does that mean?
No. Give me a timeline of you saving $1,000.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I mean? I'm just putting a number.
You just said give me 1,000.
Right. So one of my goals is actually
give me yours so I could rip it apart.
So you can what?
No, I'm just kidding.
No. So you can give me.
No, I want to hear him.
Okay, so for 2020.
Yeah.
So for 2020, I also have a financial goal.
Okay.
And finances are pretty easy to break down too, just like health and wellness and the fitness journey that you're talking about. It's tangible, right? So my wife and I, we do have a lot going on in our lives right now, but we know that we want more. And my mother-in-law is seeking to retire at some point. So we have been in talks of buying an investment property, right? So I know that I can't afford an investment property on my own right now with our current situation.
Yeah.
So I definitely need a partner, and it works for her because I believe that if I bring value in terms of a dollar amount that I can come with, and then also the knowledge to manage it, that's my value. Her value is now, and her takeaway from it is going to be that she's going to be able to retire when she wants to retire. She's going to collect money off of this investment property. And then I also need her to front the other half or whatever it is of the financial. So the goal for us is we have a set amount set in our head. And I know that it's going to happen because we break it down exactly how I said.
Yeah.
So the first thing that happens January, it'll actually happen in, right now it happens. We just haven't done it yet. The calendar comes out. And we go through it again, just like we said, and we mark down every single payroll that's going to happen. And we know the number, and the number is very, very specific. Now let's take $250, for example.
You guys are very OCD, and I'm very envious of
well,
that.
my
That's
wife,
tremendous,
dude. But
with the highlighters and stuff, like
she's, no, we're not that crazy.
And
but she's crazy with the bills.
I'm jumping in, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm
go
just
ahead.
thinking of like me and Dana sitting down with a calendar and trying to do this. We've tried. We're gonna do it at some point, but just how even whenever we come over and we see how organized, it's nuts, absolutely nuts.
So I
it's
think,
good though.
I think that people, you pay a lot of money for financial planning.
Yeah.
And I believe that anybody can be their own financial planner if you can do it. Sometimes people need another voice to come in and do it.
My belief is you need a certain amount of knowledge for very important things. So like health, money. Like no matter if you have someone, you need to know enough so you're not getting ripped off.
Right.
Whatever that is, life.
Yep, absolutely. But the first thing, Mike, I'm telling you, and I have different avenues of income that come in. So I literally mark down on the calendar every time that I'm going to get paid. So now that $250 a month, we'll just throw numbers out there. That $250 a month is now spread out on my calendar, $50 here, $50 here. And every single time that I do that, you mark it off.
Do you, when you're saying I want to save $250 a month, do you like research like how to save more, or you just do it?
So the first thing that we do is we have a budget. And
so
then
you just do it.
We budget. You have a budget.
No, I know, but I'm saying like so the reason
your monthly expenses.
Yes, but I'm saying like I look for hacks and things. A lot of times.
Yeah, you are a hack guy.
Efficiency. I like efficiency stuff because I'm like, I don't know. I enjoy thinking that I'm gaming the system somehow. I don't know if that makes sense.
So it does make sense, but
sometimes it's a waste of energy.
Hear me out. Do you first know that you only have $300 at the end of your month to play with, or are you trying to do this hack when you haven't even looked at your budget yet?
So like if we were going to try to save, I would think the opposite and think like, all right, how can I go out and make an extra $250? So like, or you know what I mean? So I think of it a little in reverse.
In reverse, okay.
Which is good.
Yeah, of course.
There's so many ways to skin a cat, but the reason why is because, and I don't mean to
go ahead.
over.
Talk to me, baby.
The reason why is because when I was starting out, we didn't have anything because I wasn't making any money. And then that made me to tighten the belt and not spend on anything. No gym, no cable.
See, that's excessive.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So we did that to start, and then I was like, I really need to start working out and go to the gym more. And like you go to this place where it gets you to the next level, but then I realized it was holding me back because I didn't want to spend money on anything. And you need to spend money in marketing and doing other things and get in that routine of expecting to be at a higher. So it's a constant struggle for me, and that's why I asked, because I was curious. Is like you're very Navy-like, where you're like, all right, I need to save money. This is how much I'm saving, not like where I overthink it. Sometimes I'm like, I need to save money. All right, can I like find a coupon that I can get this for free? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's two different ways to attack it, but I think your way is more efficient. But then I do something similar where it's a percentage, right? Because I don't have a consistent flow. So then I'm like, all right, each check, I put this much aside for taxes, this much goes to savings, this much goes to spending money, and this much to future investments. Whatever it is. So it's the same thing. It's just a different way because of the circumstance, you know. But the it's stuff that definitely this year, my whole thing this year is protecting my time. That's my like overarching theme that I'm trying to do, and being more efficient, because it's holding
This is your personal goal?
It's like a personal theme that's going to be for the year. Like every year I try to go into it being thinking of something I want to work on generally. So I don't get to. It's just more of a philosophy goal.
Yep.
And this would help me because I had to get stuff done faster. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Do you have anything?
And we all like that. Yeah. So I do want to speak about, I don't want to get personal with work, but I have like this interesting project that I've been working on.
Yeah.
I really want it to come to life. So it's one of my goals for 2020. And I've been talking about this social media entrepreneurship for kids. So basically the town that I work in, we know that there's 10 school districts in this town. And I want to take 2 kids from each school district and have them apply to get into this entrepreneurship. In a perfect world, we'd be able to serve 20 kids where we teach them how to curate the content. And it's not just me doing this, but this is the proposal that I have for the town board. So obviously a huge budget had to be created, but I'm actually I'm just speaking this out into existence because I want it to happen, and it's one of my goals.
And you don't know who's
for 2020.
Once you say this goes out, you don't know who's going to reach out.
Right, but it's a super just dope thing that you're not only taking kids in the community and you're now showing them hopefully a new school, but I mean a new skill. But what it does is it shows them how to be successful in their own world. Yeah. So we would basically take over the town's social media as a whole unit and as a whole group, whoever's in this entrepreneurship. But my hope and my value that I'm bringing to them, because I believe that you have to bring value to others to get the goal for yourself. But the value for them is like, look, after we do this as a town, how cool would it be for you to basically utilize social media in this positive light and create your own business and learn how to curate the content, schedule your posts, build a whole social media following off of this entrepreneurship. So it's a lot of money for it to actually happen the right way. But that's one of my business goals for 2020.
That's a good one. I like that. And do you think about that in like a broad sense of this? You kind of do. You already told me, but you think about like this makes sense for the town? This makes sense for me to add a skill. You give yourself a couple things that it makes sense, so that in your head you're like, I really need to get this done because this would be very beneficial for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. So full transparency here. I think I don't know if we've spoke about this, but I think we did. Got shut down for a raise.
Yeah.
Right, which was fine. But then what happened was I figured out a way, because I got in my head and I'm like, wow, I just was not good enough.
Yeah.
And I just didn't achieve X, Y, and Z, and that's why I just didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm
You're
tough
gonna
on
have
myself.
That thought
I'm
when
tough
I
on
beat
myself.
you in push-ups.
Yeah. All right. Next. So from just lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you like that?
Killed me.
No, you're saying that the raise and then how you recalibrate it.
Yes, yeah. So exactly. So I now had to say, okay, you know what? If you don't want to give me this raise, what I have to do is bring you some value. So now that
justify it.
To justify it.
Yeah.
So even though they said no to the raise, now we're in talks of X amount of dollars for this program, with X amount of dollars coming to me for creating the program.
Yep.
So what I was able to do was take a no, come back, be in my what for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I had to then refocus that energy and figure it out and get back on track.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people that I deal with on a daily basis. You always get the questions, oh, how do you stay motivated and how do you do this, which we kind of like spoke about. But the biggest thing is always making sure that you find a way to get back on track.
Yeah.
Look at through the SMART techniques, it's so cool to be able to have a calendar, even if it's in your head and you don't like to physically do it, but that for 30 days straight, you just killed it, whatever goal it was. But then, you know what? You ate like junk, you gained 6 pounds, and you had a bad week.
Yeah.
Are you going to now fall off the bandwagon 100% and just give up? Because that's failing to me. Or are you going to say, F that, I just killed the first month, 30 days, yeah, I had a bad week, but I'm now utilizing that as motivation to get back on track.
Yeah.
And that's huge for people.
Yeah.
And I see it in my own circle.
Yeah.
And I always try to remind people, like, look, you're killing it.
Yeah.
But don't allow one setback to take you off your whole goal.
I think of it as you have like a furnace and you could burn positive, negative. You just burn the whatever comes in and convert it to how you want to look at it so that it motivates you or gets you to the next step. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get a good filtering process of you take something someone said and you take it your own way so then you can go convert it to good action.
Yep.
But it's I think the setbacks and the failures, like the failure of that,
not a failure. It's not a failure, Mike.
helps you refocus and be a little more efficient with figuring out how to do stuff. You know what I mean? Well, you're saying too, I believe that no matter what you're doing, as long as you're progressing, which we talk about all the time, but as long as you're progressing, you can never fail because you're always moving forward.
Yes. And
it's when you stop.
It's
when
strategic. You know, you got to be strategic about it. So, yeah, that whole SMART thing is dope. You might have failed the T, right? So,
No.
but you just did the S, M, A, and the R.
Yeah.
But now your timeline just changes.
So we, putting these goals out into the public, cannot fail or fall. So next year when we do this, we'll be moving forward.
But that's part of it. We're just having a conversation. We're speaking on real goals. And hopefully the process, people are like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I can apply this.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
But I need to practice. So I already practice what I preach.
Yeah.
I'm already doing this, and I've been doing this. But I still need to be better every single day. You know what I mean? I don't want this to come off like, oh, Dave Regina thinks he's this guru and he's trying to do this. Because, no, I need to get better every single day.
But a point I wanted to make was I like thinking about all this stuff and creating these goals so that it helps in a lot of different areas. Mm-hmm. So I think by us just doing this, it helps us achieve our goals, right? Number one. Yeah. Number two, it creates content for whatever professional. Mm-hmm. You're going to get some contacts for the program you want to start. Mm-hmm. I might get some commercial agents. Oh, I saw the thing. So it all kind of, we're doing one action, but it's helping 3 or 4 areas of our life.
Yes.
I like that. I like doing stuff where you're like, it's not but all that is just how you think about it. Mm-hmm. So it's all, but we'll get into mindset stuff because that's a whole nother.
That's big too.
But it's interesting seeing how I'm a little flip-floppy, which is good when I can pivot, but also bad when I give myself an out. You leave no air. You're very
but it's still
it's
not
good.
Nah, it's twofold because
steal a lot of bit from you.
Well, and I need to steal some from you too because a lot of people look at me and even at work they call me like a robot because I'm very.
Who specifically calls you a robot?
Kayi, maybe a couple people.
It's good to be a robot though.
But it's me though, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm like this.
Yeah.
But by no means am I perfect, and I always know that I'm going to fall during the process, but I don't let that get in my head. And sometimes it comes off as like a cockiness. It's just a confidence because I know that I will not be outworked.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. You can be better than me. That's fine. But I'm going to outwork you.
Yeah.
And I know that the work that I've put in already, just turning 30 years old, I'm only growing.
And to bring it full circle with the push-ups, you're going to probably outwork me physically, but I'm going to try to outwork you mentally and hack it and try to figure out what's the best efficient way. And you might win,
but that's big
what
too.
I'm saying. That's good.
You just said something I think, and I want to argue that.
You do it too, though.
No, but I want to argue what you just said. You said that I just outworked you. In terms of the numbers, I might have, but how do you know that your percentage that you put in was more personal growth than what I did?
Oh, no, but I'm speaking purely competition.
Well, I'm going to, Mike, numbers are numbers, and you're not going to beat me. I don't know.
So there was,
I don't know how to tell you that. I'm sorry.
There was, I watch The Challenge on MTV, and it's on topic, I swear. And there's one dude who's like, he's got the perfect mindset. He's got one hand. I don't know if he was born with one hand or whatever. Jordan, his name is. And they do a knockout competition, and he gets picked against this like 6'8" dude with 2 hands. The challenge is to do a tug of war on a stump, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is ridiculous." They're trying to get him out.
Right.
He is playing tug of war, and they're interviewing him like in real world, and he's like, "Listen, I'm not gonna beat this dude straight up. I just gotta be smarter." So he like pulls, and he acts like he's falling off. So the guy pulls hard and then lets go.
Wow.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
And
There's your hack.
And the dude falls off. But that was like,
you like that.
You don't. Yeah, but I like any way you can like get a win and do it. Jump balls for basketball. I'm not out jumping people. I go quick and tap into I win every jump ball. Ask anyone on my free baller team.
We're gonna see because we're gonna bring Kayi.
Well, I'm not jumping. You're jumping.
No, but he's gonna come to our games. We'll get some footage of that.
Yeah,
we'll put it up
that'll
so
be a.
People
but
can
this
see
was
that
a good.
This
was
buckets.
a solid pod.
I also want to put one more thing out there.
Okay.
Personally,
another goal.
It's not. I mean, yes, it's an overarching goal, but I think I need to say it.
Hit me with it
because it needs to happen for me.
So that's how I feel. I'm like, if I don't say it publicly, the chances drop dramatically.
Yes, I need to be a much better listener in every single aspect of the word and relationship that's around me.
I like that.
And what I mean by that is I need to utilize this same strategy in being more present. I have a problem with when people are talking, whether it's my wife, my boss, a coworker, somebody on my team at work,
me,
whatever it is, you. I'm already thinking, and I think a lot of us do this. I'm already thinking of
yeah.
a response.
Yeah.
Which you can justify it's good in some ways, but sometimes I'm just like, wow, I just had this full conversation and I don't really have anything to take away. And I think the genuineness of what I'm trying to be, that gets lost.
But I also think your mindset and how much your mind's moving, not to give you an excuse, but I know I struggle with that because I'm always thinking about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When someone's talking to me, I have like 800 thoughts in my head, but it's a real skill to remain present. Maybe we should meditate.
It's something, yoga, all that stuff. It's cool, but I really need to get better at that in general. I mean, from my marriage to my mom to my dad, brother, coworkers, whatever it is.
Co-host.
I need co-host. Seriously. I need to just be more authentic and present in every single moment and take in what's being thrown at me. Because a lot of the time, there's a lot of valuable stuff that I think that I'm missing out on.
Yeah.
So if I turn it into a way to motivate me is like listen to people because you'll probably gain something off of them.
Yeah. The old saying was it 2 ears for a reason?
2 ears for a reason. Yeah.
One mouth, 2 ears for a reason.
Yes.
It means listen
more.
Yes,
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's time for Dave's Dime of the Week.
Yeah. Oh, I did a premature dime right there.
Well, you're always dropping dimes. So it's right into the goals. Goals without action are just dreams.
I like that. That's good. That's something that rings true with me. My Mike's mantra is from a commercial agent, right on theme. This guy, Sharif Medawar, he was a hedge fund manager and does commercial investments. But his is the only thing that holds you back is knowledge, creativity, and the ability to communicate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fire. I actually took that all in.
Yeah.
I'm being present, and I listened to you.
Were you present on that?
So that's good for today. We'll see you guys next time on the No Snooze Podcast.
Yeah, go follow.
My man.
That's another Epi in the books. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Snooze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze.
Come on.
Come on.